Step away from her now. The champagne glass shattered against marble as 200 guests froze, and Claire Morrison, the bride's wheelchair-bound stepsister shoved into a storage closet during the ceremony, never expected the groom's business partner would shatter 10 years of cruelty with 4 words: "She sits with me." This is how one act of defiance at a wedding exposed a family's darkest secret and built something beautiful from betrayal's ashes. The September sun through Ashford Manor's windows should have made everything beautiful: crystal chandeliers, imported roses, ice sculptures. But Claire Morrison saw none of it as beautiful. She sat in her wheelchair in the mansion's coat closet, hidden behind winter furs, watching through a crack as her stepsister Victoria glided down the aisle in a $60,000 dress, while Claire wore beige because the Harringtons had been specific. Nothing that draws attention this day is about Victoria. Every day was about Victoria for 10 years, since the Harringtons took her in after the accident that killed her mother and left 12-year-old Claire unable to walk. Took her in not from love, but for the PR opportunity. The ceremony ended and guests filed toward the reception while Claire waited in her closet until the wedding planner finally opened the door. "You can come out now. Your table is ready." Table singular. One folding table behind a decorative screen in the ballroom's corner where 300 people would celebrate, while Claire remained invisible. "Miss Morrison," a young waiter looked mortified, "the Harringtons requested you be seated there." "I understand." "Thank you," Claire said quietly, her hands tightening on her wheelchair's armrests as she prepared for the long roll across that ballroom. At table 6, Marcus Chen watched the procession with darkening expression. He was 43, business partner to the groom, expecting boring speeches, not institutionalized cruelty. "Can you believe they invited her?" The woman at his table didn't lower her voice. "After everything the Harringtons did, taking her in, supporting her all these years." "That's not what support looks like, Dad." His 13-year-old daughter Lily signed sharply. She'd been deaf since birth and recognized isolation when she saw it. "Mom would have done something, you know she would have." Lily signed again. The reception began with speeches and toasts and dinner service delivered to every table except one. Claire sat behind her screen with a cold sandwich while everyone else had salmon. "That's it." Marcus stood abruptly, his chair scraping marble, because some things mattered more than comfort or professional relationships. Every step across that ballroom felt like rebellion, as conversations stopped and heads turned and Catherine Harrington stiffened at the head table. Claire didn't hear him approach, staring at her sandwich with shoulders curved inward. Someone who'd learned invisibility was safer than presence. "Excuse me," Marcus said gently, and Claire looked up startled, her green-gold eyes swimming with tears. "I'm Marcus Chen. I work with Jason, and this seating arrangement is unacceptable. Would you please join my daughter and me at our table?" Claire's expression cycled through confusion, suspicion, hope, then resignation. "That's kind, but—" "It's not kind, it's basic human decency," Marcus said firmly. "Spend this reception hidden like something shameful, or sit with people who'd actually like your company. They put me here for a reason. The wheelchair makes people uncomfortable. I make people uncomfortable," Claire whispered. "Then they're uncomfortable, and that's their problem, not yours." Marcus pulled the screen aside. "You deserve better, and my daughter Lily saw what they did. She's ready to start a riot if you don't let us help." Claire saw the teenage girl signing enthusiastically. "Please come sit with us. These old people are boring, and Dad needs someone interesting." A laugh escaped Claire, small, surprised, genuine, the first real joy she'd made all day. "Are you sure?" Claire asked, looking at Marcus, at his daughter, at the empty chair. "Completely," Marcus said, positioning himself behind her wheelchair with practiced ease, and together they navigated back across the ballroom as whispers erupted. Lily was clearing space when they arrived, signing to Claire, "I'm Lily, I'm deaf. That orange-dressed lady's been talking about you like you can't hear, which is stupid. Wheelchair doesn't affect ears." "I'm Claire," she said, ensuring Lily could read her lips. "And you're right. People are idiots about disabilities. See, Dad, Claire gets it." Lily signed as Marcus announced to his table, "Everyone, this is Claire Morrison." Tom from accounting said, "Of course that corner table situation was appalling," while Margaret from HR added, "We're glad you're here." They were halfway through salad when Catherine Harrington descended in ice blue silk and fury, Richard trailing behind. "Claire, what do you think you're doing?" The ballroom went silent as conversations stopped and the string quartet played softer. Claire was sitting alone behind a screen, so I invited her to join us. "Is there a problem?" Marcus said calmly. "This is a family matter, Mr. Chen. You don't understand the situation," Catherine said with Arctic politeness. "Then explain why your stepdaughter is eating a sandwich alone while everyone else has salmon." "I'm genuinely curious about the logic," Marcus replied. "We've done everything for this girl, everything. After that accident when she had no one," Richard slurred. "I had my mother's sister. Aunt Linda wanted me, but you fought her for custody," Claire said quietly, voice growing stronger. "You fought for custody 3 months after my mother died." The carefully constructed Harrington narrative cracked as guests leaned closer and phones appeared. "How dare you after everything we've given you?" Catherine hissed. "Given me? You gave me a basement room, introduced me as Richard's late wife's daughter for 10 years, didn't let me in Victoria's engagement photos, made me enter through the service entrance today. You didn't give me family. You gave me a role in your redemption story." Claire's voice shook, but held. "This is Victoria's wedding day. How dare you make a scene?" Catherine's voice rose. "She didn't make a scene," Lily signed sharply as Marcus translated. "You made a scene putting her behind a screen like trash. She's just telling the truth." Victoria materialized in her expensive dress, makeup flawless but eyes cold. "Claire, why are you trying to ruin my special day?" "I'm not trying to ruin anything," Claire said softly. "Everyone's talking about you instead of my wedding. Just once, couldn't you be grateful? Couldn't you stay in your place?" Victoria snapped. "Her place? You mean behind a screen, hidden like something shameful?" Marcus stood slowly. "The wheelchair would block the aisle during ceremony. Photo angles would be difficult. It was just practical," Victoria stammered. "It was cruel, and you know it," Marcus said quietly. Jason's grandmother Helen Wu approached, cane tapping marble. "Practical? Was it practical to make Claire enter through servant's entrance, seat her behind a screen with a sandwich, exclude her from every family photo for 10 years? "Grandmother Wu," Victoria paled. "Don't Grandmother Wu me. I've watched your mother's treatment of this girl for a decade." Helen's eyes blazed. "But this public humiliation ends now." She turned to address the crowd. "If the Harringtons treat their own daughter this way, yes, daughter because custody means family, what does that say about their values? I've been on this earth long enough to recognize cruelty dressed as charity, long enough to know how you treat the vulnerable reveals who you truly are," Helen continued, moving to stand beside Claire's wheelchair. "This young woman lost her mother at 12, lost her ability to walk, and instead of family, you gave her a decade of orchestrated neglect, punctuated by just enough public generosity to maintain your image," Helen stated. More phones appeared as the Harrington facade cracked for the world to see. "What's inappropriate is what you've done to Claire for 10 years, making her believe she should be grateful for scraps when she deserved a seat at the table," Marcus said. "Please don't ruin us," Richard's voice cracked. "You've done that yourselves. I'm just making sure Claire knows she has people in her corner now." Marcus turned to Claire. "You don't have to stay. Lily and I are leaving. Come with us, please." Claire looked at this stranger who'd stood up when her own family wouldn't and nodded. "Okay." The drive to Marcus's house was quiet until Claire asked, "Why did you do that? You don't know me. You just cost yourself a business relationship. Why?" When Lily was 3, we took her to a party, and the host's mother kept asking if Lily could sit separately because her signing was distracting, Marcus said. My wife Jennifer said, if my daughter's existence is distracting, that's a you problem, not a her problem. She died 3 years ago, and I've tried to live choosing kindness even when uncomfortable, especially then. They pulled up to a modest 2-story house, nothing like the Harrington mansion. Come inside, we'll figure out next steps tomorrow, but tonight just breathe, Marcus said. Lily unfolded Claire's wheelchair with practiced efficiency. Ms. Rivera, who had MS, taught me to help without making it weird. People either treat you like fragile glass or invisible furniture. Goal is just being normal. I like that normal, Claire said. Inside was warm and lived in, photos covering surfaces. Marcus and Jennifer, Lily as a baby, family vacations built on genuine affection. I don't have anywhere to go. The Harringtons were my home. I don't have money saved, Claire said quietly over terrible spaghetti made with love. You'll stay here. We have a guest room, and it's yours as long as you need, Marcus said simply. Lily signed. Kindness doesn't need a reason. You needed help, and we could give it. That's what real families do. Days became weeks, became months, as Marcus helped Claire apply for better disability services. The case settled and the Harringtons paid significant restitution, but more importantly, the story went viral and their company lost contracts. While legal battles raged, life continued as Lily taught Claire gaming. Claire helped with homework. 6 months after the wedding, Marcus found Claire on the porch. I got my acceptance letter. State University, social work program. I'm going to help kids who've been through trauma. You'll be incredible, Marcus said. Thank you for showing me what I deserve, for being patient while I learned to believe I was worth caring about, Claire whispered. You've given us just as much. Lily adores you. She calls you her sister. Marcus took her hand. I call you family. I love you too, Claire whispered. I've been terrified to admit it. This is real, Marcus said and kissed her. They married 18 months later in that backyard with 60 people who actually loved them, Lily officiating. Love is about showing up, saying you belong here and meaning it, choosing someone every day. Helen Wu sat in front, beaming. The Harringtons weren't invited. Their reputation never recovered. 10 years later, Claire testified at the state capitol for legislation protecting disabled minors. I survived because one man at a wedding stood up when staying seated was easier. Marcus sat in front with Lily and their 2 other children. Family built from choice and love. This legislation would have protected me, but more than that, it sends a message. Disabled children aren't props for redemption stories. They deserve families that choose them from genuine love, Claire said. The legislation passed unanimously. That evening, the Chen family gathered in their backyard. Those 4 words, she sits with me, built everything we have now, Marcus said. Claire understood. The Harringtons gave shelter but never belonging. Marcus offered 4 words and changed everything. If this story touched your heart, subscribe and share with someone who needs to know they belong.